No matter what the season, there's always work to be done in the farm fields of Kyrgyzstan. But all too often the workforce includes children, like Yevgeny and his friends. It's demanding work for even the strongest adults. For children, it's not only exhausting. Hard physical labor can damage their development.
When I work in the fields, sometimes I have to squat for a long time, and after a while your legs start to hurt, and it's impossible to stand up again.
Kyrgyzstan is one of the least developed countries in Central Asia. More than 1.5 million people, 1/3 of the population, live in poverty, and there is constant migration in search of work. There is a deep tradition of child labor. Nearly 40% of the population is under 17 years old. Orman never went to school because he was always working. Now he regrets what happened to him.
Kids should study. They should have a normal childhood, develop normally. They shouldn't be working like slaves.
But something is beginning to change in Kyrgyzstan. There is a renewed government commitment to fighting child labor, including a pilot project supported by the ILO's International Program on the Elimination of Child Labor. One of the key strategies, training child labor monitors, including local school teachers. The teachers come to the fields looking for children who should be in school.
I feel really sorry for these children. They need to go to school to get a proper job. I'm a mother, and I wouldn't want my kids to work in these kinds of conditions.
At the Vastordoy market in Bishkek, child labor is never hard to find. A district police inspector trained by the ILO IPEC pilot project as a child labor monitor talks to business owners about the problem and advises them there are alternatives for children.
This man told me he had had 4 children, and his eldest son doesn't go to school. I asked why the children are working, and if they're in the worst forms of child labour.
With the support of ILO IPEC, Kyrgyzstan's Federation of Trade Unions is actively involved in combating child labour in Kyrgyzstan.
The most important thing is that people understand that in Kyrgyzstan we have the worst forms of child labor. The public needs to get involved, and so do the politicians. That's why we are working directly, together with our partners, to raise awareness on this and to eliminate child labor.
Kyrgyzstan is focusing on education and training to fight child labor. Working together with the Ministry of Education and with technical assistance from ILO IPEC, a pilot project has worked to establish child labor-free zones in Moskovsky and Isikata districts. Using the child labor monitoring system, the monitors identify children at risk for or who are involved in child labor. The Education Ministry recommends alternatives for the children, including non-formal education, secondary school or vocational training. Going to school helps change children's perceptions.
Parents should keep track of what their kids are doing. They should make sure their kids have a good teacher, and they should make sure their children study. They should not allow their children to work in the fields.
Children over 14 are enrolled in vocational training programs organized by the trade union, learning computer skills, sewing and hairdressing. A local hair salon has taken on Svetlana as an apprentice.
It's difficult to find a good job these days, but a hairdresser's job is always in demand. My dream is to open my own business, my own beauty salon.
Apart from the professional skills, we motivate them to look at their work and interests from different angles. We want them to look not only at their work, but at themselves, and that's giving them confidence.
At the national level, ILO IPEC is working with the government, employers and trade unions, helping mainstream the child labor issue into the national policy framework and develop a national strategy to fight child labor. members of Kyrgyzstan's parliament have been particularly influential in mobilizing national institutions.
Unfortunately, the number of children who are not attending school is increasing over the last 10 years, and that's why we are very concerned. We are taking a range of concrete measures to reduce this problem, first of all to conduct monitoring to find out why this is happening. There should be a clear government programme on fighting child labour, together with international organisations like the ILO.
Among the key achievements, Kyrgyzstan has ratified ILO Conventions 138 and 182 against the worst forms of child labour. The country's constitution specifically forbids child labour, and the Labour Code prohibits employment for children under 16 years of age. Kyrgyzstan's Code on Children specifically defines the worst forms of child labour and prohibits it. The Social Protection Development Strategy aims at promoting the comprehensive development and protection of children. In the framework of the United Nations cooperative project Delivering as One, the Ministry of Education is working with the Childhood Institute, a local NGO and ILO implementing partner, to organize evening classes for young adults who miss school because of child labour. Because of their experiences, many of them can't relate to other students, get frustrated at school, and risk ending up back in child labour.
These children are used to earning money. They are used to a free schedule. They can't sit at school for 3 to 6 hours behind a desk. That's why it's necessary to have special education programs to help them adapt to the school environment.
After they have completed the evening classes, these young people will be able to get their school certificate and get back on track for a job or higher education.
At the evening school, I hope to get my certificate of completion for 9 years of compulsory education and enter the Islamic University.
I'm going to attend the evening classes for sure. I want to become an auto electrician, just an ordinary, simple profession.
The Ministry of Social Development, along with the Ministry of Education, are key partners in the pilot project.
With the support of the ILO, a good education program has been established based on international models and will be applied in the schools.
The strategy is that at least children should get access to social services, education and health services. That's why educational alternatives for children are so important.
At regular meetings organized by the NGO, parents and their children talk about child labour. Food bags are handed out so families will rely a little less on money earned by their children. The meetings are changing attitudes about child labour.
It completely changed my thinking about this problem. My son finished all 9 grades. It was difficult, but he did it.
I started looking at this issue differently. A child should not work, he should study. Our children should not be working.
During the 8 years of the pilot project, more than 500 families and nearly 2,800 children at risk for or involved in child labour were provided with direct services, including health and nutrition care, school supplies, and medical and legal counselling. Today, thanks to ILO IPEC program, addressing child labour in Kyrgyzstan is integral to the activities of government, trade unions, and employers, who are determined to help change the lives of children trapped in child labour. As a result of the pilot project, 715 children were prevented or withdrawn from the worst forms of child labour and enrolled in education or skills training. ILO IPEC has contributed towards creation of a sustainable system to help many more children in the future. Ordinary people know more about the dangers of child labour. Government, trade unions and employers have learned new ways to fight it. And effective legislation, with a strong emphasis on education and training, has contributed significantly to end the worst forms of child labour in Kyrgyzstan. But the most important change is in the lives of the many children helped by the project. Now they have big hopes for the future. Yevgeny wants to go to university and dreams of eventually becoming a football trainer. And he has a message for other children about child labor.
If they are working in the fields their whole life, they will not get knowledge. If they go to school, they will get knowledge, and they will get a better job.